I want to talk about inclusivity and what it has done to the African continent. A lot of governments and agencies within countries and within governments have tried to build programs and initiatives based on inclusivity and trying to include everybody in the economy. And I think that, if not the biggest, is a major contributory factor to why we can't move forward. Now, hear me out. Why I'm saying so is, look, if we look, for example, at the mass housing project that Namibia had, I don't know if it still has it. I'm gonna say had because I'm not seeing it being, I'm not seeing it active. So if you look at that program, majority of it was built around inclusivity. But now when you do inclusivity, you're also including people that cannot afford a house. So what you do is you build a low-income house, and you so that you make it affordable for this person, because they wouldn't afford. I don't know. Is it a high-income house? They wouldn't afford a house otherwise. So you build a low-income house for these people, and then what you don't realize through doing that is, even though that they now have a house, they've got rates and taxes to pay. Now they've got a water bill, electricity bill. Now they've got to fill that house with furniture, because now the reason they can't afford a house is because of their income level, which is little. So without expanding their income level, without having them get alternative sources of income or growing their income source or income streams, you're actually adding expenses to them in the name of inclusivity. Inclusivity means, in Africa, giving a farm to somebody who doesn't have agricultural skills or managerial skills, who has no idea of what to do with a 50,000 hectare piece of land. Inclusivity means giving somebody who has no understanding of the inner workings of a business shares in a business because of BEE. That is inclusivity. And I think that has been the problem for Africa. What I think should instead be done as an exchange maybe of inclusivity is access. People who have access to resources should enjoy those resources. And those who don't have access to said resources should be empowered and be enabled to work so that they can have access to those resources. Universities work on access, not inclusivity. Access because you have to attain a certain percentage of your scores when you matriculate to be accepted at certain institutions for certain programs. That's not inclusivity. Inclusivity would mean that everybody from Hakana to Kleine Cooper, from Hagegengo Secondary School to Delta and Yanmur, everybody gets to study engineering, even if they got an E in maths or an A in maths or whatever. That is inclusivity. Access means you have to reach a certain level. You've got to score at a certain level, at a certain rate. You've got to be of a certain understanding to be able to access some of these things. Look at companies like Apple, for example. Look at companies like Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, right? Rolls-Royce doesn't work on inclusivity. They work on access. Who are the people who come in excess of the kinds of money that we want to sell our cars for? That company is growing because of access, not inclusivity. If they were inclusive, everybody would own a Rolls-Royce. Now, I mentioned Apple, right? Apple is built on access. Samsung is built on both. It's incredible. Samsung is a beautiful company. I want to look at the mobile phone segment of Samsung, right? They build the mobile phone on inclusivity, right? That's why there's a Samsung mobile phone for every societal or economic hierarchy right? You can get the S23 that would set you back 30,000 or whatever, or you could get what we call the Tamagotchi that would set you back $250. So everybody gets access to this thing. Everybody's included in this thing, right? But when you look at a company like Apple, is J Valley, J Heti, J loss. Not even J Valley, J Hetni, J loss. If you don't have the money, it's not sharp or some. You get the money, nigga. It costs you $23,000. If you want it with 3 cameras, just go get the money. You're gonna get it, right? And what Apple is doing is they are phasing out lesser products, like products that are older, yes, older products. So they phase them out strategically. So they've got a minimum price that you're going to come in at, and that's access. You have to afford to own an Apple iPhone. Whereas a Samsung phone, look at where you are in life and you will get you a Samsung. So Africa, we need to shift away from trying to be inclusive to building based on access. Let people work for resources. Let people strategize to get resources. We shouldn't build things based on give everybody should have access, or everybody should include it in this thing. Everybody should have access to this thing. No. Accessibility moves with affordability, and you've got to have a certain level to attain certain things. That's just my points on inclusivity and access.